Sixth grade Excel, lesson 133, calculating expected numbers based on probabilities. Talking about probabilities here. Based on the past 8 years of experience, the probability that an orchid will bloom in June is 1 out of 6. So every time they plant, say, an orchid bulb in the ground, 1 out of every 6 of those blooms in June in the past. Knowing this, it is probable that you will have a flower in June. Is it probable if you have 12 orchid plants? All right, so 1 out of every 6 will bloom, and so you're going to do 1/6 as your probability, because probabilities and fractions are very much alike, times 12, or 12 over 1, and these cross cancel with the 2. 12 divided by 6 is 2, 6 divided by 6 is 1, so we get 2 flowers. The answer is yes. There's a pretty good chance you'll have 2 flowers in June. Let's take a look at some more problems. Len's business records show that 2 out of every 3 people he called on bought something. Called on someone means that he tried to sell him something. If he makes 48 calls, how many sales could he expect to make? So you're going to do the probability of 2 out of every 3, 2/3, times 48 calls. And 2/3 of those 48 calls, of usually means multiply in math, 2/3 of those 48 calls should result in a sale or selling the person something. And so you're going to do 2/3 times 48. 48 and 3 can both be divided by 3. That becomes 1. 48 divided by 3 is 16. 2 times 16 is 32. 32 over 1, but you don't need to write that. So the answer is 32 sales. So just remember, probabilities are like fractions, and usually we're going to be multiplying probabilities times things to figure out what the expected outcome would be. So now go ahead and try number 2. Pause the video, turn it back on when you're ready to see the solution. So far this season, Riley has hit a home run every 5 times that she has come up to bat. If she bats 40 more times, how many home runs can she expect to get? So if she hits a home run every 5 times, that's 1 out of every 5. She's coming up 40 times. And we can cross-reduce that. Divide by 5, divide by 5. And the answer is 8. 8 home runs. I'm going to put 8 HRs. All right, number 3 and 4. Go ahead and pause the video, do numbers 3 and 4, turn it back on when you're ready for the solutions. There's a 10% chance that any car will fail the smog test. How many smog test failures would you expect if there are 10 cars tested? Again, remember, if you see a percent sign, probably means you're going to multiply. So we've got 10 cars being tested. We're going to multiply that times 0.1 or 0.10 for the percent, and 10 times 0.10. 10 times 1 is 1, so you would expect to have 1 car that would fail the test. If you flip a coin 30 times, how many times would you expect to get heads? Well, half of the times you would expect to get heads. That's a probability. And 30 times 1, you can divide both of these by 2, and we get 15. Of course, most of you probably thought, well, let's just divide by 2, which is basically what we're doing here. It's just a fraction problem. So we'd expect 15 heads. All right, let's keep going. Go ahead and pause the video, try these 2, and then turn it back on. There is a 5% chance that the average clerk at a store will be sick on any given day. There are 40 clerks. How many would you expect to be sick each day? So that's, again, a percent problem. 5% is 0.5. We're going to multiply and get 0. 20, move the decimal point over, 0.05, sorry, I almost did the same mistake that a lot of you guys do. 2, we would expect to have 2 clerks sick. All right, 4% chance on this one. There is a 4% chance that a car will turn left at a stoplight. 50 cars at the stoplight, how many would you expect to turn left? 50 times 0.04 for 4%, 0, 20, and again, with the decimal point over 2 spots, we can get the same answer of 2 cars, just a different way of getting it. All right, there we go. There's our answer, and thanks for watching.